everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of different things. As Keith said, I run both the Center for Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities, and I also work on nationally competitive scholarships. And luckily, the previous speaker already put those two together for a lot of us. But I want to talk about both offices and what they do. So first of all, the Center for Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities, we call that Cooke here. It's centered on enhancing undergraduate research across all disciplines on all campuses of the University of North Georgia. So a question I get a lot is, what about art? Can I do research in art? And the answer is yes. We've had fantastic research projects in art. We've had them across all disciplines. So it's something, never discount your discipline. There's always research to be done. The fields are always growing. Essentially, undergraduate research is an inquiry or exploration conducted and disseminated by an undergraduate, usually with a faculty mentor, that makes an intellectual or creative impact in a discipline or an applied field. So essentially, what you do in undergraduate research is you engage in hands-on practical research. So we like this for a couple of reasons. First of all, it increases skill sets for you as students. As you're applying for jobs, as you're applying for graduate school, to have these hands-on skills that you learn in the lab is very important. Another thing that we really like about it is it helps students get a better understanding of your academic or your career field. So I've talked with a couple of students tonight who don't quite know what they want to do yet. That's okay. That's completely okay. As I've told some students, I started as a biology major and I ended up majoring in chemistry and English. Don't know how that happens. And now I'm an English professor who advises for nationally competitive scholarships. So you never know where you might end up. But if you are interested in a specific field, doing research can help you figure out what in that field you really want to focus on. The most important reason that we do include undergraduate research here at the university is because it's considered a high-impact practice in the classroom. It readily enhances student learning and student retention. It engages students in innovative thinking and problem solving, and that's what we want. We want you at college to think critically, to solve problems on your own, to not repeat back to us what we say in the classroom, to create knowledge. And undergraduate research is a really exciting way to do just that. In undergraduate research, students alongside the faculty member actually think through the problems. They come up with the planning, they do the execution, they run the analysis, and they evaluate what happened. And then they go on to present it. That's another great area where you can get feedback from people beyond our campus even. Through undergraduate research and presenting the results of undergraduate research, students also improve their oral and written communication, further problem solving, and they learn a lot of independence. So we'll talk a little bit about research conferences as well, what you can do there. And also, I think one of the most important things is it encourages students to understand that there are always going to be obstacles. How do I get past them? One of the main things you're going to learn from undergraduate research is you run into a problem, here's the solution. So you really become problem solvers. At University of North Georgia, we do have several mechanisms that support undergraduate research. First of all, we have what we call MiniGrants. This is competitive funding to support undergraduate research. We just got done with our MiniGrant process, and we have a couple of new ones, so I thought I'd highlight a couple of different undergraduate research projects that we have going on. One of the first ones is called Barriers for Women and Minorities in the Video Game Industry. Do I have any video game players out there? Yes? Email video game players? Yes? Great. Excellent. So this is Dr. Brian Dawson, along with several undergraduates, will be using analysis of targeted online surveys to explore internal and external factors that aid some women and minorities to succeed in playing video games where others might be blocked. Very interesting work. Another one, to show you the breadth that we have here, Dr. Joanna Kim of the music department will be engaging several of her piano students in exploring the art that inspired Claude Debussy's piano works. So using art to further understand music, which is very interesting, I think, as well. Her goal is to reinterpret these visual aspects back into Debussy's work as performance tips and help her students craft new ways to actually play the work and to further express themselves with their own artistic choices. So a very neat thing that she's doing as well. So besides the MiniGrants, another really cool thing that we have here at the University of North Georgia, one that I participated in myself and absolutely loved, is the Faculty Undergraduate Summer Engagement Program. And what that program does is it pays for a student and a researcher to spend 8 weeks of concentrated research in the summer doing one specific project. And you get paid for it. That's the best thing. Right. So it's an excellent opportunity for you to work one-on-one with a professor on something that you're really, really interested in. It's yielded really impressive pieces of undergraduate research over the past few years. Just last summer, some of the teams working on Peace Grants investigated projects like a study of algal biodiversity in different areas of Lake Lanier. Biology majors? Yes, that sounds interesting. Another biology project, this one I thought was really cool. They wanted to find out if mockingbirds recognize human facial features. So I accused them of stalking mockingbirds because that's what they did. They would track mockingbirds and they would see if they actually recognized their faces. They began wearing presidential masks to try to hide who they were. It was a very, very, very neat project. Other projects over the years have focused on collaborative memory from the psychology department. There was the construction of a beautiful art mural by some art students. They did a lot of research into Dahloneg's past and specifically the University of North Georgia and crafted this absolutely amazing mural. Geographic information systems has been featured in quite a few of these grants as well. So a lot of really interesting research across all different disciplines. The students that participate in any undergraduate research experience, we encourage you to present at conferences, like our annual research conference that we have every year on all 3 of the big campuses. We don't have it coming yet, coming soon, hopefully. This allows you to present your work to a wider audience and to get feedback, to further shape it, to further mold it, to keep moving forward with it. We also encourage you to go beyond. You heard about the Georgia Collegiate Honors Conference. Next week, I'll be going with about 10 different students to the Georgia Undergraduate Research Conference, the statewide conference here. I'm really excited to see these students present as well. The students going with me next week, again, to get an idea of the range. They come from biology, English, Spanish, business, and psychology. Okay, so a lot of different departments there. One of the newer initiatives we're currently working on is encouraging our students to go beyond UNG for their research experiences through what's called a research experience for undergraduates. It's termed REU if you look it up online. The National Science Foundation runs a lot of these. This allows you to actually go to a different school for the summer and engage in a specific research project. Okay? They're very highly competitive, and it's a little bit hard to get into them, but completely worth it. What this signals to the wider academic community is not only does the University of North Georgia believe in your research, other schools do too. Okay? Gives you great background training, and it furthers that education you're already receiving here. So those are 8 to 10 week programs in the summer. And that idea of REUs leads pretty cleanly into the other half of my job, and that's working with students to attain nationally competitive scholarships. As you heard, I myself was a Fulbright to Taiwan, and that completely changed my life. I had an amazing, amazing time there. I learned to speak Mandarin Chinese, which is always very cool. No one ever expects me to be able to do that, except now that my last name is Lin, maybe they expect it more. I just got married, so I'm getting used to that part. But essentially, what I do is I work with students to identify scholarships, and then I actually walk you through the entire process. Applying for scholarships is super scary sometimes, and it's nice to have someone there with you to work on applications. So when I think about scholarships and what I do, I think of myself as Match.com, essentially, for scholarships. So I meet with you and I learn about your personality, I learn about what you're interested in, and then I try to match you to that hot guy or girl that has the same interest, that scholarship, right? And then it goes a little bit further. The second step is I don't just send you out to that scholarship by yourself. I work with you on drafts, I talk with you about how to best present yourself. If I'm lucky, I meet with you early on in your career and we carve out a track for you. These are the different things that you're going to do in order to accomplish that senior level scholarship. I do tell every student that walks in my door, and I want you all to know this, I make you write 12 drafts. Yes, 12 drafts, because if you're going to win a $40,000 scholarship, you're going to have to write 12 drafts. The second thing I tell you is it's not you, it's the scholarship. This is never your writing, trust me. But again, it's a long, long process. Most of my students end up hating me at some point, and then they love me at the end. So it's completely worth it. I've asked a lot of the students who've done it, is it worth it, is it not? They said yes. Generally, when you're working through this process, you are learning more about yourself and what your future goals may be. Many students have actually figured out, aha, this is what I want to research in graduate school just by applying for these scholarships. So it's a really great process that aids in your scholarly development. You also learn a lot of networking skills as well. You learn about audience and arguments a lot. We think about who your audience is. I tell students every scholarship has a poster child who wants to be that poster child. What in your background makes you that poster child? And we go from there. Ethos, pathos, and logos. I'm an English professor by trade. Yeah, we use those sometimes too. We never say those words there in an essay. Never, ever, ever. Okay, a couple of other things. In the end, what I always tell students is to focus on the process, not focus on the scholarship. In the end, you might win a scholarship, which would be amazing, yes? These big, huge scholarships, things like the Fulbright, the Rhodes, the Truman, a couple of NSF graduate research fellowship grants to pay for your graduate career in the sciences. These are great, great opportunities. And I wanted to highlight, in closing, a couple of students who did this with me last year, went all the way through, and they won scholarships. So a couple. First of all, John Deese, he won the Udall Scholarship. The Udall focuses on either Native American tribal policy or environmental public policy. He's a GIS major. He's very interested in helping the environment to get better. So he did a lot of work, and he won the scholarship. He was one of 50 students in the nation who was awarded the scholarship, and the only one from Georgia, and that's the part we really like, from right here. He earned a $5,000 scholarship, and he got to network with policymakers in the government and other movers and shakers just like himself from across the country. It was an amazing opportunity he set up now for graduate school. We're really proud of him. One of the other students we're also very proud of is Pete Marshall. He was from our Gainesville campus. He won a Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. He was one of 82 students in the nation that won that scholarship. That scholarship has allowed him to go to Columbia University, which is pretty amazing, on a full ride. So again, a lot of work that goes into it, but what I'm hoping you see is that we have the teachers, we have the academic regimen here at UNG to produce scholars like this. The last student is perhaps the most impressive. That's Joshua McCausland. He was he used to be the president of the honors program. I don't think he is currently, but he won an NIH Undergraduate Scholarship. That's up to $20,000 to finish paying for your college, your undergraduate career. And I always say when I talk about this one, but wait, there's more. So not only did he win $20,000 to help with his final year of college, he also gets a 10-week fully paid training session at the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. But wait, there's even more to this one. I love this one. After he graduates, he has a fully paid year of employment at the NIH as well, right? It's pretty amazing. So we're very, very proud of him, and I believe he was one of 32. So it's all possible. Really at UNG, we're looking for that complete scholar development. A lot of our programs dovetail together. We want to continually push you to be better. We want to continually push you to dream big, to take chances as well, and to try your best. Thank you.